I'll just present my screen and we shall begin immediately. All right. So Dell Technologies, the global organization, has been supporting the startup ecosystem for a good number of years, and we keep coming up with different initiatives which allow us to interact with the startup ecosystem and work closely with them, create opportunities and platforms wherein Dell and the startup ecosystem can, interact with one another, and we can core explore the different initiatives um, that have been done around innovation. Dell Technologies Forum will be hosting Designathon Innovation Challenge this year in India, and that's the main agenda of this webinar that I wish to cover and you know share a bit about what the challenge is all about, and how startups can apply for the challenge and what are the takeaways, and how it could benefit the startup. So these are some of the points that I would like to cover in this presentation, and would be happy to um, answer any questions at any point of time. So you could use the chat window to put in your questions and we can take them up as we go along. So as I said, Designathon is the main topic of today's webinar, which I would like to cover. So uh, before that, a bit about Dell Technologies Forum, Dell's annual conference in India, which gathers the best minds to celebrate technology, business, and innovation. This year, we are doing it in Mumbai on the 25th of August, where we are expecting close to 700 in-person attendees on that day. And this is an hybrid event, so we will be also live streaming some of our sessions and tracks to a virtual audience of close to 5,000 people. Um, So it's an annual conference at Dell, one of the most sought after platforms where the external world can know more about what Dell has to offer, what are the different offerings and technologies it has, and what are the initiatives it's been doing. Just a bit of overview of how the previous editions have been in terms of numbers. So 2019 was the last in-person event that we done, where we um, hosted around 3,000 attendees across 5 cities of India. And the last 2 years have been digital events where close to 5,000 or 5,500 people have attended. Um, just sharing some numbers on what kind of audience is part of this forum um, from a business segment point of view. So, we have enterprise, corporates, small businesses, medium enterprises. We have our partner companies attending it. And in terms of professionals, so we have CXOs, head of IT, solution architects, networking, system admin people, engineers, um, all senior level people who are part of this forum each year. So now, Designathon. Uh, Designathon started off in 2017, and in that point of time it was a design focused challenge only looking at the design community. So the agenda of the earlier editions of Designathon was to promote design amongst a very niche audience that came from real estate, construction, architecture, manufacturing companies. So where product-led design is the very first step of these businesses to start off anything in terms of product building. This is the fourth edition of Designathon, and for the first time, we are doing this for the startup community. So, the theme of this year's Designathon is Design for Change, where we are inviting startups to inspire us with their path breaking design around three sustainability development goals that we have picked up um, as part of the tracks, where we want startups to disrupt with their creativity and innovation, build products or applications in this duration of 24 hours, which we plan to host. So accessibility, wherein we want to ensure that there is better health and or education for all. That's the first track. Inclusion, where we want a better and a smart workforce, that is championed around diversity, equity, and inclusion. So having a gender diversity across the workforce, so that you know the the future of work is more inclusive. Sustainability is the third track, where we are looking at solutions that can, enhance the use of circular economy and also impact climate action. So these are the three tracks, and very, very specific to certain areas that we want, to startups to think, to create and build design led innovations. So we are looking at a 24-hour duration. So while the Dell Technologies Forum is on 25th of August, our Designathon challenge will begin on 24th of August at around 2 p.m. and will close at around 2 p.m. the next day, which is 25th. And then, we'll have around couple of hours to evaluate the submissions being done, and then we will announce the winners while concluding the Dell Technologies Forum. So the expectation from participating startups is to, build either a product mockup, or it could be a application focused on a better UI UX. So design is which design is the core essence of this challenge. So we'll be providing the Dell infrastructure at the venue. So we will be having workstations installed um, and preloaded with some softwares which can allow the participating startups to either build a product mockup, or they could build an application, which um, can help solve issues around these three tracks. So this is the timeline of the challenge which we have announced last week. So the challenge has gone live from 5th of August, and we expect, interested startups to submit their concept notes on our website latest by 15th of August. And we are scouting for startups from all across India, but eventually we will have 10 startups chosen from the entire applications that we receive. And those 10 startups would be invited to Mumbai to participate in the challenge, which begins on 24th of August. And so once the startups are informed, they will have about a week to huddle internally to, where, I was covering the journey timeline. So the 5th of August is when the challenge has gone live. We are at 10th of August. We expect the concept note submissions to come in latest by 15th of August, which will allow us a couple of days to review, and then we will shortlist 10 startups from across India and we will notify them, um, to participate in Designathon, and they will have about a week to prepare their blueprint, and on the day of the start of the challenge is where the actual development of the product mockup of the app begins on 24th of August. So why should startups participate? Would be a logical question coming to many people's mind. So this gives an opportunity to startups to be the change champion and create social impact across the three tracks that we have chosen this year to disrupt. So a lot of times many startups may have the ambition or the vision, but just the sheer pace of the venture growth, priorities change, and a challenge like this gives startups an opportunity to participate and be the change. So our challenge is very unique in the sense that we are not looking at startups that have those tracks as part of their business. The challenge is open to all startups, irrespective of their growth, irrespective of their development stage. As long as you have a registered entity, that is all we require. And up to three uh, people from one startup can participate and form a team to represent their startup at the challenge. So a brilliant and a massive opportunity which startups can utilize to showcase their innovation to the Dell leadership that will be present on the 25th of August throughout the day, um, along with the 700 enterprise professionals from small, medium, large corporates from across India, and also to the 5,000 odd virtual attendees, where we will be live streaming about an hour or two of the Designathon to the virtual attendees so that they can experience, how startups are working. Startups also get mentorship from skilled and experienced professionals. We are in the process of finalizing our mentors and jury um, that will be present on during this entire 24 hours of duration to support startups. So getting mentorship from these people also is a add-on for participating startups. Top winning top three winning startups will get Dell laptops. We will announce the model numbers in due course on our website. And if there are relevant startups that would require acceleration support post the closure of the challenge, we have a Dell for Startups program as well, where we could consider these startups and accelerate them. So what are the next steps? Please head on to the Designathon page. The link is here on the slide, and I have also announced it personally on my LinkedIn uh, timeline. And Kerala Startup Mission is also a partner for this, so they will also share the link to the web page, where you could go through the details and also, start registering your application. There is an FAQ section as well, which covers broad areas which startups may require clarifications, but the objective of this webinar is also to answer some of those questions live. So, once I complete these slides, we can either use the chat window, or, you could interact with me one-on-one as well. So the FAQs is there. Select the track. You may not look at all three. You can just pick one, and you can submit a concept note around it. Um, and keep in mind the deadline, which is 15th of August. And if selected, we will notify you, and you will be invited to Mumbai along with other startups, and we'll have a great time in designing and building the innovations for change. These are some photos from our previous editions that we have. So this is the kind of vibes and environment that one can expect when they are participating. So these are the workstations which will be pre-installed with some design softwares and applications. Um, and we'll have a good time in trying to disrupt and solve problems around those three tracks. I'll just stop the presentation here once. I would like to share a video of our 2019 edition. It's a 1-minute video. Please take a look and just try to feel the vibes as how Designathon will look like.
It was a very, very immersive experience today at Dell Designathon. If you guys get a chance, have a look at what the guys and teams are doing here using the Dell platforms and infrastructure. And what I talked about in the keynote today in the morning to give you a glimpse on 2030, after reaching into this room and people who were working behind me, I get a very, very immersive experience and closer to the vision of 2030. Technology is becoming an innovator and empowering communities across the globe. Today, we have the teams who are not only using and leveraging the technology to bring up new and agile solutions, but they are also driving some solutions which are going to impact the human progress.
So that was a quick video on how Designathon challenge, would look like if somebody is going to experience it. I'll now go back to my presentation. Just give me one moment. All right, so we are almost at the close of my presentation. So would encourage all of you to have your questions ready. Just wanted to give a shout out to all our ecosystem partners who have been kind enough to come on board and support us in this year's Designathon, Head Start, Kerala Startup Mission, SAI IIT Bombay, Maharashtra State Innovation Society, um, CIE Triple IT Hyderabad, ISB, the Atal Incubation Center at ISB, and NASCOM Deep Tech Club. So these are all our partners. We are very glad to have their support in helping us reach out to the startup community and look at shortlisting the 10 startups that we are looking for to have them at our Designathon challenge. So that brings the end to this presentation. I am personally um, very excited to look at the application, so can't wait for the submissions from the community. So look forward to it. I'll now stop sharing my screen, and I'm open to questions. All right, so there are already 3 questions in the chat, so let me start taking them up one by one. um, the first question is, we start building the high fidelity prototype on the venue and all other processes we can do in the days between. Yes, so you can prepare the blueprint of your idea, which could be either a product mockup or it could be an application. But the actual, designing and building the same begins at the venue if you are shortlisted. So we will be preparing the entire room with the Dell workstations and preloading them with the relevant softwares. So teams, just have to be there with their fresh minds, and all they need to do is to think around and start building. Abhishek is asking question. We have ideas for making new devices, but I don't know where to present or whom to speak with. Um, Not sure if this is in context to the Designathon challenge, but if you are a registered startup, then yes, you can use this platform, to submit your application, and we'll be happy to evaluate it. Um, is it for startups only or include individual innovators? This is only for registered startups. Registered, when I say, is as business entities. So this is not for individuals at the moment, but in the roadmap, as we go along, we may look at that also, because a lot of requests have started to come in as soon as we had announced it. So right now we would want to showcase some startups, working on this. So um, that's the answer to the question. Okay, so I have addressed the 4 questions that are in the chat, but if anybody wants to, um, come in and ask more questions, I'm open to them.
So if anyone want to ask a question directly to Rahul, just raise your hands. I will just make the alteration and you can talk directly to Rahul and clear your doubts.
Yes, we have a hand raised. Abhishek?
Yes, sir. I am Abhishek. Sir, I am a student of Model Polytechnic College, Vadagara. It's in a Kerala district, Kerala state. Sir,
Okay.
sir, I asked the question that I have the ideas to make the devices like phone, etc. And
Mhm.
I'm too curious about that. But the issues I'm in the still studying. I don't have the startup. I can't do the startup like that. So I don't know where to present their ideas. Sir, can I get a satisfying answer to that?
So Abhishek, thank you for raising that question again. If it's, so that is what I explained. Currently, this challenge that I have spoken about is open to startups that are registered business entities. But I'm sure if you are residing in Kerala, then your go-to platform should be the Kerala Startup Mission team. So it's a very vibrant, state government program. You should get in touch with Abhishek and team. My apologies. You should get in touch with Abhijit and his team, speak with them and see how they can help you out.
Sir, the issue is I'm too curious about the mobile phones. Well, that's why I need the help from the mobile company. Then only I can improve my
Abhishek,
idea.
actually that Kerala Startup Mission can take forward. So just have a word with Kerala Startup Mission. You can just call me directly and we will just take it outside this meeting actually.
Okay, sir, but how can I contact you?
I'll just ping you my phone number.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. So I see another question on the chat, which is around how they can find more details. So as I was saying, we'll be sharing the relevant information with Kerala Startup Mission team. So they will also circulate the information to all of you. But I am just pasting the link to our webpage here in the chat. So if anybody wants to immediately go and check it out, please do so. I will also share this presentation with Abhijit, who can then circulate it to all of you as well.
So immediately after this session get over, I will just sending you the more details, the poster, the link, everything I will be sharing to your mail ID.
Thank you, Abhijit. Hriday is asking a question that if somebody has an app already, we can just present it. No, we would want you to build the application at the venue within those 24 hours. So any existing applications or products are not eligible as part of this challenge.
So any other questions? So where is the venue? Actually, he had mentioned it. It's Mumbai.
Yes, so the venue is Mumbai, and if a startup is getting shortlisted and called to participate, they will have to travel on their own expense. I thought I'll just cover this part. So travel and stay startups will have to take care on their own, and we'll be providing refreshments and comfort zones at the venue. Um, so the Dell Tech Forum and Designathon are being organized in the same hotel, which is the Grand Hyatt, Mumbai. So so travel and stay is on the startups, while giving them the experience and exposure is on us. I thought I'll just cover that part.
So Rahul, you have another question up.
Rabin, if I am pronouncing your name correctly, yes. So the idea is to create a new design for a product or an application. Any existing applications would be rejected. So your concept and your abstract should be voicing and talking about a concept which is non-existent, which we are happy to evaluate for the challenge. Um, Abhijit, I see a hand raise in the chat
I got it.
window.
Like one more question. Any discounts on Dell products for startups?
Oh, yes. So yes, we do. I can share details on that separately with the Kerala Startup Mission team, and they can circulate that information to all of you. We do have certain product discounts in general, is apart from this challenge that we do. So we can share details on that with this team, who will then speak with you, and if there are any specifics, we can take care of that.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Fatima, we can hear you.
Hi, Rahul. Hi, Abhijit. So
Hi.
my question is, what exactly are you expecting in the concept or abstract? Like, what all points would you like it to be covered?
So the broad, 30,000 feet view of the concept, just to help, the applicants, we'll be uploading a sample concept note also, which, somebody can view and accordingly put up. So broad points around, what is the product mockup or the application about, how is it going to disrupt or help solve problems, any specific area in those tracks that you wish to take up, in terms of addressing through the innovation. These are some of the areas. So I think about half a page or one page is going to be good enough to cover all these aspects.
Okay, that should do. Thank you.
Welcome.
So Rahul, you have one more question in the chat.
All right. So if there are any categories for application, so we don't have any application categories. What we have are the tracks, accessibility for better health and or education, sustainability, which can be addressed, through circular economy and climate action, and inclusion. How we could facilitate equity and gender diversity to build a better smartphones. These are the broad, problem areas which we have put up. Now it is up to the startups to think whether they would want to build an application around fintech, or it could be a SaaS application, anything that can address these problem areas. So that's where the concept note which you submit will help us evaluate and look at what you're trying to do. I hope that answers your question, Rabin. Arshad, hi, you have a hand
Hi.
raised.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for your presentation. And I just want to confirm that you are looking for only for the software-based concepts, or some other devices, not like that. Any?
No. All right. So no, it could be software applications, or it could be physical product mockups also. So for example, as you may had seen on the video and in the photos, we have teams that are actually building product mockups. So we'll have softwares which will help you create a 360-degree view of the product, which you think can solve some area under those 3 tracks. So you are, you are free to build that product also. It's not just around software application.
You mean like it's in software designing softwares, or in physical items also we can apply for this forum? Huh?
Yes, you can. Although the physical items you won't be able to showcase, because we'll be providing you Dell workstations to give us a kind of a tech view of it. So you can use those design softwares to create the models, and that is good enough for us.
Great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, so I have another question in the chat which says, what kind of software is really provided by Dell? So I'm just giving you some examples right now. Adobe, Photoshop, and we have CAD software. These are 2 examples of softwares which will be preloaded. Basically, those softwares which help in design. So design is the core essence of the challenge, and that is what we want to encourage amongst the startups. So these softwares, and once the 10 startups are shortlisted, we'll be actually going back to them also to check if they need any specific kind of softwares which will help them build the physical products, or the software application. So design softwares is the answer to this question broadly.
So any other questions? So I think we have covered all the questions.
Yes, and if Abhijit, you could help me if there is any other question coming in later, you can push that to me. I'll be happy to address them, and I'll share this presentation and the link to the application which you could circulate to the attendees and the other startups also under the KSUM umbrella.
We have one more question. When would be the next year challenge?
Okay, so we have the Dell conference every year, although we have not thought of the timeline yet, but just assuming if we go as is, August next year is maybe we could expect the next um, designathon. But we are also looking at a roadmap where we could do some some city specific challenges also, but that is still under consideration. We are not yet sure. If at all that happens, then we'll be happy to announce that and do it at smaller levels also. But for now, if it's going to be next year, then maybe in August.
So Rahul, we have two more questions.
Yes. The concept note template should be loaded on the website. Let me just confirm it. All right. I'll just check it live right now and I'll let you know. Just give me 1 minute. All right. So I think it's yet to be loaded. I'll I'll update Abhijit as to when it's available, and then you can look at that also. So
we
for
have a question like, are you providing 3ds Max software for the product modeling? And also one more question, same thing, Figma for design.
All right, I'll come back on the specifics. So I'm not yet. I mean, we don't have the exact softwares lined up. I'm just using examples from what we had done from the previous editions. So I can maybe check with the team internally and come back with what are we planning, and that will help address these questions for now.
I think we have answered all the questions. So any other quick question or something? If not, I think we can wind up this session. So Rahul, thank you so much for spending time with us, clearing all the doubts and telling more about what is the challenge, the innovation challenge with Dell is provided. And also, I think one more question we have. Yeah. What is in product? Is it working prototype or mocks? So I think we can answer that question also.
Yeah, the end product would be a mock, obviously, because prototype would still mean that it's in working condition. So that is not the objective. Design is what we are looking at, per se. So if we are looking at that aspect, naturally, prototyping may not be possible because it would need a few more steps, and 24 hours for frankly is not enough timeline to cover that aspect. So we are only looking at design for now. And as I said, in our future challenges, we may come up with options to have prototypes as well.
Okay, so thank you, Rahul, and also the startup who have joined us and spending time with us. And I will be sharing more details about the program. After this program, I will be sending a mail which contain all the details, all the links, everything. I will be sharing after this session. So thank you once again. Thank you, Rahul, and all the startup founders who have joined with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure, Abhijit. And as always, Careless Automation is doing an awesome job in promoting the startup ecosystem. So always there to support as an ecosystem enabler also. Thank you, everybody. Look forward to the applications and
Rahul, before going, we have one more question. I
we
think
have another. Okay.
Right.
Okay, so I think the question is, would it be a functional design or just wireframe? So it could be both. It could be one of them. I think it should be convincing enough for the evaluators to see the potential impact that it brings, So I don't think a wireframe would do justice. So we need to go a little beyond that to make sure that we could provide actually the functional aspect as well, so that you could, be eligible to be in the top 3 to win the prizes. Let's not discount that part also.
So thank you all. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Abhijit. All the best to the applicants. Look forward to them. Thanks.